Yo, what's up, guys? Man, I have a lot to say about this whole tariff situation, but I know I'm no expert. But at the end of the day, guys, man, it's really difficult. So, as we all know, Nintendo has released the accessory price increase for the Nintendo Switch 2 console. Accessories like the camera, the dock, the actual controllers, like literally everything has gone up by around a baseline of 10% or give or take. Like, the actual controller grips, or not the grips, even the grips went up, which by a dollar, just a dollar, but they cost like $12 already, so now they're 13, you know? So things like that. Um, the camera cost 49.99, now it's 54.99. So that went up by $5, that's 10%. The actual dock itself cost, I believe it was $110 or $100, and now it's $110. So that's 10%. And everything's going up, man. But here's the thing, guys. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I understand it. I hate to admit it, but I do understand it. Simply because I did a little bit of digging online and I did some research and I found out that Japan is being hit with a baseline 10% tariff at bare minimum. Now, they are also being hit with tariffs for like steel and automobile imports and things of that nature, but that tariff is actually like 24.99%, so that's way higher. The good thing is, from what I've heard, even though the Switch does have metal inside of it, none of that import is coming from the America, so I guess it helps not have. I don't know. I mean, even though that America doesn't make metal and they don't ship it to Japan, Japan's still going to be selling their console, which has metal in it, to the USA. So I think they are taking a hit in the simple fact that they did not increase the price of the Nintendo Switch 2 because the video games being $80 is really hurting them. Now, here's my take. I understand the increase of 10% on all the accessories. I genuinely do get it. Like, I don't see that as like a quick cash grab thing. I don't see that as them being dirty, playing dirty, trying to get more money out of us and wring us dry. I don't see it like that. Now, the video games being $80, I damn sure see that as them trying to wring us dry of our money, our hard earned cash. Because really, there's just no world where a video game should cost $80 for the bare minimum of the regular base game. There's just no world where it should be like that. I do not care. The simple fact that we can even get games digitally and they can actually save on manufacturing costs and, you know, save money on their side and still sell the game for a base price of $60 is already a win-win for a company. They're not hurting. And I hate that fact that they are trying to make an $80 game a normal thing. I don't care if it's only going to be like the highest of the highest games, like how Donkey Kong New Country, whatever, Donkey Kong Bonanza is $70 instead of 80. It's still $70. That's more than 60. And at the end of the day, any new Mario game like the Mario Kart World is going to be $80. Now, obviously, we're going to get it for 50 because who's not going to buy the bundle? You know what I mean? Who's not? But the other games that aren't going to be bundled, like the new Kirby Air Riders, dude, $80 for a Kirby game is atrocious, dog. That is atrocious, dog. Who's doing that? Seriously, who's going to actually buy an $80 Kirby? But that's a little besides the point. I'm just pointing out the fact that I do not rock with that, bro. I do not respect that. I do not stand by that, and I will not purchase that. As far as today, I will not do that, bro. I'm not going to disrespect myself and my wallet because I work a lot and I work hard. I work so hard. I'm not doing that. But as far as it comes to them increasing the price by 10% of all their accessories, I do get that. And I actually will even go a little bit further and say, hey man, they actually did us a favor because they really could have increased the price of the Switch by 10%, which would have made the base price for 499, which is really $500 and then taxes, and then the Mario Kart World. I keep wanting to say World Tour, but the Mario Kart World bundle that could have ended up being 550 plus tax. That's not a world I want to live in either. But I mean, honestly, I would have. I don't know if I would have paid for it, man. I really don't know. Like that's so high. It's just so high. Just like my voice just got. Like, dang, dude. It's just not an appealing price at all. Like that 450 was perfect, bro. And then the 500 for the bundle, perfect, bro. But yeah, man. Besides all that, dude, I gotta say, man, I understand it, and I really do. I can't argue and I can't get mad at it, man. Like I honestly intend to buy the camera day one, you know. I want to be able to talk to my friends, and I like how it already has like the outline of you, like your body, your face. It doesn't show your whole background. I like how now maybe it does in this, original state, but I'm sure there's a setting just like they showed they only show the people's outline of the person. So it's probably using AI already in the camera, which is cool with me. I don't mind that. But yeah, dude, I think that's pretty cool. But um, it's understandable, guys. It really is. So I wouldn't hate on that. At first, when I first saw the price increase, I got pissed off, dude. But the funny thing is, like that tariff situation. So it was announced on April 2nd, and I believe it was actually the same day when the Switch 2 had its unveiling. Yeah, the Nintendo Direct for the Switch 2, I believe, was on April 2nd, the first one. So it makes sense. They did that. They really gave it some thought, and they thought on it for like a good week, and then they were like, you know what, we got to increase these prices just in case because we're not trying to do this. And the just in case isn't a just in case. Like they were already hit with the minimum 10%. So it wasn't even a just in case. This is actually them saying, yeah, we got to do what we got to do, and we're just going to have to do it. Now, the video game should be $60, man. And if I were to be honest and be like, Nintendo makes good games, I could accept the $70 Nintendo game as the maximum, just like I did for, uh, not the Breath of the Wild, but the Tears of the Kingdom. Even though I did buy the vouchers, but that's money that they got from me, and they didn't have to do anything extra. They just put it on the shop, and I bought it. So I will always have that game for as long as the servers are up, I guess. And then they'll have that money forever. So they got what they wanted with that voucher. They got $100 out of me for digital games that doesn't have any physical means. And one day when my Switch breaks in 2045 and they don't sell their Tears of the Kingdom again, and I don't have it physically, they just have my money. So honestly, they win. No, I don't. So I'm not arguing with them on that. Like they got me. But regardless, what I'm trying to say is a $70 Nintendo game is understandable, guys. But could be just because like people play they so the first game that sold for $70 was actually 2K something. I don't know if it was 2K Wrestling WWE or if it was 2K Basketball. I don't know. I just remember that it was 2K game, and I think it was in 2020. And that was the first game that sold for $70. So we can thank all the sports fans for go ahead and paying for $70 games and starting the whole trend in the first place and starting the trend of acceptance. We can thank them first. But Tears of the Kingdom, honestly, I will give it to them because they put real effort, you know. But regardless, that's besides the point. I just kind of wanted to say that whole thing about the accessories being higher. But I'm just gonna say it, man. Uh, PlayStation in their price increase had absolutely no right to do what they did. I don't care, bro. PlayStation is already high, and the funny thing is they didn't even increase the price for the USA yet, and that's a yet. But they didn't. They increased it for the UK and other areas in like European, like the mainland Europe. So the funny thing is now the PlayStation now it was only the PS5 digital edition, but it's still an increase. And if anything, that's the most insulting because the thing is they increased the price for the PlayStation digital, the PS5 digital. Like it used to cost 389 British pounds, and that I don't know what that translates to. I think it translates to like 440 440 or something like that plus tax. But it ended up going up to about 429 British pounds. So it was a $40 increase of the pound, 40 pound increase. And actually the funny thing is, so that price is about $570. That's $570 for a PlayStation Digital. That's already more than the Switch 2, but that's understandable. PlayStation 5 is going to cost more than the Switch 2, but the digital is supposed to be the budget version, and that wasn't supposed to cost more than the Switch 2. So what the heck is happening? So PlayStation, you do not have my respect. And then they're going to increase the price for PlayStation Plus as usual. And dude, they've already increased the price for PlayStation Plus, which really kills me because obviously at first it cost $20 for a year when it first came out on PS4, and then they raised it to $60, and then they had PlayStation Now, which is basically PlayStation Game Pass, and that was another $60, but it was a separate service. And then out of nowhere, they combined both of the services, PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now, into one service, which is PlayStation Plus Essential, PlayStation Plus and then basically premium. I don't remember the other one, but the premium one's the one that it costs the most money, and that one is the one that costs. It ended up costing like 139 for a whole year. And the funny thing is, in order to get PlayStation Now, you had to also pay for PlayStation Plus Premium in order to even have access to PlayStation Now. So you had to buy the higher tier version of PlayStation Plus in order to even play the retro games and to play the other free games and stream them. That's a disrespect to the players. That's first and foremost. There's not a separate service anymore. You have to pay for the higher service, and the higher service is even more than the combined separate services into one. They literally make you pay more for less. And then they wanted to add some stupid ass EA game premium. Dude, they make you pay for fucking demos. I cannot tell you how much I hate that. Like I literally had to pause just to think of what word I wanted to say, but I couldn't. Dude, that is the most disrespectful thing. And then they heighten the price again. Now PlayStation Plus Premium is quite literally $165 for 1 year. Guess what? I'm not buying PlayStation Plus if it's not on sale. Every now and again during the year, during Christmas or during maybe like it's sometime in February or even March, they do sell PlayStation Plus for about $99, which is 100. And for me, that is worth it simply because I was the person who actually did pay for PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now back in the day separately. That was $120. And then Trump came in and made you have to pay taxes on digital fucking purchases, which was the most I if I hate Trump for one thing, I hate him for that. That's the one thing without shadow of a doubt, there's proof in the pudding that he got me fucked up because he made us pay. I remember when 59.99 on PlayStation Store was 59.99, and then Trump let pass that bill. He was like, "Yeah, we're paying taxes on digital items, my guy. I want your money." And I'm like, "Fuck!" But regardless, PlayStation quite literally added all that stuff together, didn't even give you anything. They made you pay for trials, which is literally just a fucking demo. Like there are demos that are free, but there are demos to new games that I guess everybody buys on the regular anyway. And then at the end of the day, they make you pay for that too. That's disrespectful. And honestly, a trial is a demo, but it is a little different because it's basically playing a brand new game that didn't have a demo. You're just able to play like 2 hours of that game. But I'm not paying anybody to play 2 hours of any game. I don't give a fuck, dude. I can watch YouTube and look at it. I can see it myself. I don't need to like if Bleach Rebirth of Souls were to have like a non demo but a trial with it. I mean, cool, but I'm not paying for it. You're the one, and this is the problem with video gaming nowadays because video games, they literally expect us to be like, oh, it has been an honor to be able to purchase your game. It is my honor to purchase and spend my hard-earned money to buy and play your game. Now, back in the day, there's this thing called a demo disc. Like during the GameCube era, there was one disc with several demos. I remember it clear as day. There was a demo for Crazy Taxi. There was a demo with Sonic Adventure. There was a demo for the Pokemon Coliseum thing. There was the demo of all these things, Jirachi the Wishmaker, and then the demos actually had bonuses in them. And I still have a bonus disc to this day somewhere in my dad's house, and it literally had this ability to connect your Game Boy Advance and then get the Jirachi from the Jirachi Wishmaker movie, and then just literally have him as a Pokemon. And that was all a demo disc, and it was all fun and it was all free. They were passing them out at GameStop. My dad got one for me, and that was it. You didn't pay for a trial, you didn't pay for the disc, and you got something for free. Like people who are smart, who sold Pokemon back in the day. Dude, Jirachi made somebody some money. But now companies are like, oh no, we're not giving stuff for free. Now I'm not gonna sit here and lie. During the whole Black and White 2 phase on the Nintendo 3, no, the Nintendo DS, I do remember that. Was it? No, it was Sun and Moon 2. No, Ultra Sun and Moon. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. They were giving out legendary after legendary after legendary, just giving them out. And I was a dumbass because I had my 3DS at the time and I didn't. I had this Ultra Moon and I had a 3DS and I didn't collect shit. I just wasn't a real Pokemon fan. Like I was fake, dude. I like to play Pokemon, but I wasn't like really in there like that. But I could have probably had a couple $100 off that because that's literally just free Pokemon, and now people sell that shit. And then some of them could have been shiny. You just never know. They were all free. But anyways, that's besides the point. What I'm trying to say is that back in the day, even as recent as the 3DS era, Pokemon were free. And now, even nowadays, you don't just get the free Pokemon. They don't just give them to you. They give you the ability to catch them if you are already beat the game, and if your Pokemon are like level 100, basically, then you can have the opportunity to catch them. They don't just give you Pokemon. Well, they did actually give me Mew, so I'm just gonna not say that. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. But when the Mewtwo came out and the Rayquaza came out, nah, you ain't getting that for free no more. That was Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. You had your turn. Too bad, so sad. You're gonna have to earn that shit now, dog. So good luck, but you're not getting it. And now, like all those people, like Wolfie, VGC, yeah, I know he played back in the day. He was winning actual money, but and he still is to this day. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is that nowadays it's like video game companies are like, you have the honor of buying our product and buying our game. We no longer want to please our customers. We want to run our customers' pockets, and thou shalt run thou pockets. And I don't appreciate it. And not only do I not appreciate it, I fucking hate it. Because that's just not fair to the people. It's not fair to us. Prices are increasing. So you guys should at least have some kind of honor about yourself to not just screw your own fan base over. It's just not right, bro. And that's just what video game companies are doing. And Sony did that. And the funny thing is, when they increased the price of their product, their PlayStation 5, they basically just announced it, saying like, yeah, Nintendo's already doing their dirty work. Let's just ride the coattails of Nintendo doing their dirty laundry, and then we're gonna like ride that, and then just put our prices up because we're gonna do it regardless, you know. So yeah, but like I said earlier, dude, I don't blame Nintendo for heightening the prices on the accessories due to tariffs, because they literally have a baseline 10% tariff, and they could have even raised the price of the Switch 2. But the honest to God truth, the only reason I believe they didn't raise the price of the Switch 2 is because it was already a high price. Like, and people were pissed off about the games. And I know they're trying to make their money back from the video games that they sell. I get that, but they're trying to make too much money back off of the video games that they sell. That's just not right to do stuff like that to your fan base. That's not how you treat people, man. That's just not how you treat your fans, bro. $80 games is not an okay thing. Like I said, I get it. If you're selling at a loss, I get it. Nintendo is legitimately the kind of company who does that, but the kind of money that they're trying to make, it just really puts into perspective like who is running the company these days. Because at the end of the day, the one person who's running the company is Shintaro. He is just a businessman. He is not a video game designer like Iwata was. Iwata was the old CEO of Nintendo, and he was a video game developer first and a businessman later. Because obviously he has to make money, but he has to make sure that the product that they make is actually good, actually great, actually worth the actual customer's dollar. And that's like the rule that he never broke. Was like, I mean, I'm not gonna say he never broke it, because I do remember back in the day with the 3DS being so expensive, and they tried, and the 3DS, it still sold, but it didn't sell as well as the DS, and it never would, because the DS was just a fairly priced piece of hardware, and it sold all kinds of games. But I will still say, DS games brand new were $40. The 3DS games brand new were $40, and 3DS games look so much better than DS games. So I am appreciative of the fact that they made a console that is a handheld console, and they even made great games for it with lots of heart, love, and passion. And they actually sold it for a lower amount because they knew that they could only make it with such quality. So they made the enjoyment factor as high as possible with the hardware they had. And the thing is, with the 3DS, they were selling a gimmick. And that gimmick was 3D. So they got rid of the gimmick eventually, because it really was at the end of the day just a gimmick, and they made the 2DS, and it was literally basically just a HD version of a DS in higher graphics, and that sold perfectly for $200, and they got a lot of sales, and they got a lot of success. So, but the thing is, they realized that they could just make a console that could be handheld, but also plugged into the TV, and still charge $60 for every game. And even, and Iwata he had passed at that point. He passed way back then. So it was really unfortunate that he did pass away, because it's like we also lost the heart and creativity of Nintendo. But not only those two things, but we also lost like the fair price and the consumer care for their actual customers and consumers. Like they just, that's it. But when that's my rant for today, and that's my topic. So I appreciate you guys for showing up once again. Thank you so much. It's been Yakala Gaming, and I am signing out at once, bro. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day too. Peace out.